Welcome to Hornet Radio and to Fullerton College tonight, as it is a campus celebration. And yes, we're back here once again, myself, Ryan Osborne, Corey Nalen, for Day of the Dead here on Fullerton College. And it's our pleasure here at Fullerton College, part of the Technology and Engineering Department, that we're here with you on Day of the Dead, Ryan Osborne. It's something we've been here now. Well, I should be here at my age all the time, but you and I have now, this makes what, 4 times in a row now that we've done this?
Yeah, so since Joe and I got here to Fullerton College, we have done this 4 years out of the possible 5 that we could have. Of course, not doing one in 2020 due to obvious reasons. But Dia De Los Muertos has always been something that has been near and dear to our hearts since we got here on campus. In fact, it was one of the first events that we did as a staff once we came to Fullerton College and KBPK, now Hornet Radio, is we made sure that we were able to go out and do Dia de los Muertos because we kind of got a feel for campus and understood what was most important to not only the students on campus but also the staff as well. And what we were told constantly is Dia de los Muertos, this year being the 24th anniversary and 24th annual Dia de los Muertos, it was something that was very important to campus and integral to campus. That's what we were told. So we said that's an event that we absolutely have to be at. We have to be able to partake and celebrate with the campus and with the community. So we started in 2019 covering this event from Joe and I's perspective. You were there as well. And then we have done it each of the last 3 years here in the quad.
Well, and the thing that's interesting, you look around you, there's people that are playing with technology. Of course, I'm not sure they know what they're doing, but they're playing with technology. There was wonderment in that youngster's eyes as he said, I've never dwelled into the world of media, so I'm not sure what this is, but that's why we're out here, not only to talk about this day that many people around the world do celebrate for those relatives that passed, but we're also here to let everybody know about the different departments here at Fullerton College. And like I said, we're part of technology and engineering, Hornet Radio, but we're really Hornet Multimedia now when you think about the growth of our department.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because, as we mentioned just a few moments ago, KBPK is becoming Hornet Radio. And, of course, with the KBPK legacy, over 50 years of KBPK at Fullerton College. You have KBPK going from 1972 up until most recently in August when we did make that change. When you look at KBPK, it had its own legacy. I am a part of that legacy. You're a part of that legacy. That's not going away. The consistency of KBPK for over 50 years to be able to bring you campus events, community events, whether it be here, the Muckenthaler, downtown Fullerton, the museum in Fullerton, everywhere around Southern California, KBPK was there to give you that sense of community. Well, Hornet Radio is going to do exactly the same thing. We're just operating under a different name with a new vision. As you can see, well, plain and simple, you're not listening to us right now. You're watching us because that's more of the aspect that Hornet Radio is going to take. As we talk with industry professionals and people who are working out there in radio, in multimedia, and journalism, we got a sense of what the industry is going to look like in the future. How can we bring you more times like Dia de los Muertos directly behind us? How can we bring that to you more without kind of staying in the past for technology? And the way that we were able to find out the best solution for was to angle ourselves more to the multimedia aspect, something that Mark has mentioned as almost a buzzword for nearly 20 years. Well, now it's the future of the program. Hornet Radio, multimedia aspect. Along with journalism, Hornet Media, all one thing. So FC Hornet Media, which you will hear from multiple times, not only this semester, but in the semesters going forward. Hornet Radio, the Hornet, Inside Fullerton, all part of FC Hornet Media. And we will be able to bring you these campus events like the one directly behind us. And you'll hear more about election night, which we will talk about later on this broadcast. And we'll bring it into Dia de los Muertos. But you look at FC Hornet Media, it's going to bring you a lot more content, a lot more community feel, just like we had before. And Hornet Radio is folded into that as well. So, Mark, I bring it back over to you. I mean, you were talking about KBPK, Hornet Radio, multimedia, but you look at something like Dia de los Muertos that means so much to the community. As you have seen in the years past for this event, it's changed a lot.
Well, it's grown, Ryan. I mean, that's the big thing. I can remember when we were doing things, there were very few tables out here. Not a lot of the public showed up. They
Right.
really weren't aware of it. And when they did show up, because I've got one on, I've got a Halloween shirt on, people would go, oh, we're talking Halloween. And people have learned about the culture that was here for many years before them, that people grew up with. The religious thought. And I know some people will say, well, we're not talking religion. Well, not in the sense of organized religion, but spiritual
Right.
religion. And it's allowed us, even you and I, at these many events, to meet the individuals and to talk to those who really believe in this day that the spirits are going to come back. They're going to have beverage. They're going to have food. So when they pass back through the gates, they get to take a little bit of what made them happy when they were living back to where they're going to spend the rest of their spiritual life. And that's one of the things that we have learned here, as an education establishment should do, as Fullerton College does, is to educate you about the past, the present, and of course you already brought up how we've embraced the future. That's what you find here at Fullerton College, and that's what we're learning tonight. Part of the past.
And what we have found is interesting. You mentioned not necessarily organized religion, but we've seen different people have different aspects on this, right? We've seen people who do truly believe that, like you mentioned, the spirits come back and they feel their family members here with them. They're able to celebrate with them. We've seen it in their eyes. We've seen it in their emotion. We've seen others who say, hey, you know what? My family celebrates this. I'm not sure I'm of that same aspect or of that same belief process, but I do believe in celebrating my ancestors. I do believe in coming out here and being able to be a part of this community. Even though I may not share that same sentiment all the way, I am still out here to support those who do. I'm still out here to feel that community aspect, that family aspect with those who do, whether it be in their family or out of their family. We see a lot of different people coming across multiple different beliefs, multiple different understandings to be able to celebrate as one whole.
Well, Ryan, it makes you a better person if you understand the nationality you are. When we talk about you, we tease you all the time because Ryan is Irish and Colombian. He could have easily looked at the Colombian side and said, well, I'm in the United States. There's not a lot of people around me that speak Spanish that are my friends. My family still does, but my friends don't. I'm going to anglicize myself. Or you could have flipped it and said, hey, I'm going to break. But it's nice to be able to embrace, like I know you have the Colombian side. And if I started talking to you about Irish heritage, you and I could discuss it. I happen to be Serbian, which would be European, and talk about that. So this is what this does, too. This makes you become awakened by, hey, maybe my grandma and grandpa believed in this. And you go back home and ask mom and dad, hey, Day of the Dead, did anybody in our family ever do this? And you find out for the last 55 years, your family or members of your family got involved in Day of the Dead. But your mom and dad all of a sudden said, oh, we're now, quote, Americans, and I mean that with a loving taste, but Ryan, you know what I mean.
Right.
And they get rid of their past. Here, you have the opportunity to see maybe what your past was that you never knew about.
Well, one thing I think is interesting, you go back to last year, and you look at someone like Raymond, who ended up doing this event for us and hosted it last year, who was a student of KBPK, Hornet Radio at the time. And one thing that he said is it wasn't that for him, his family didn't necessarily just stop it just because of where they lived. It kept getting less and less emphasized as time went on. The more that they ended up, whether living here in the United States or where he was from, which is his family and his ancestry was from Guatemala and El Salvador, they just emphasized it less. They celebrated it less. And as time went on, it started to go away. He rediscovered his passion for it by events like this. He came out a couple of times, realized this was something he wanted to be involved in. He wanted to learn more about his family's history with it, and he was able to host it last year and was able to be in full regalia as well.
Well, what's fun about this too, Ryan, is if you're religious or not, if you're spiritual or not, or if you are deeply involved in either one of those, you can go back in the past with a day like this day and figure out what the people before you believed in. You will find out that if you take world religion class, history classes, that what might be in the theme of what you believe today was a theme that existed 1,500 years ago with people. And, you know, it's real interesting. I saw something the other night that they were talking about, you know, during these times of years, people talk about spirits and spirits, ghosts are white. And somebody said, why did we come with this concept that ghosts are white and that when kids actually do go out, do something like this and they want to have that spiritual feel and they put the sheet over their head? Why did they do that? Well, in the old days, many people, when they were buried, were wrapped in white linen. And then they were buried, so therefore, if the spirit came back, it would have a white tone and texture to it because of the linen. If you go back even further with the heritage of Day of the Dead and find out why they put food on the table, why they put drink or a special thing on the table, that all of a sudden brings history into life. And then if somebody believes something today, it might correlate with Day of the Dead, and you can relate to it. Doesn't mean you have to believe in it, but you can relate to it.
Right.
And that's why celebrations like this are so important.
No, and you look at the emotion that we've seen in the past, especially last year where we've seen people not only just get into it, but also tear up when they start talking about their ancestors or their family members or their friends who have celebrated in the past. We see what it means to people. And like you mentioned, a lot of different people come from different aspects and walks of life, but yet they're still able to get that sense of community and also celebration as well, because everyone has that family member or that special person, that loved one that they were able to lean on and say, you know what, I'm here to celebrate them. Now, as we continue on with the night, Mark, I'm going to let you get off the air. Go find yourself an interview if you don't mind. I will continue to talk about what's coming up on FC Hornet Media and have everyone get a little bit of a preview of what's coming up.
Okay, so I'm going to go away for a little while, and then I will come back. I look over at Corey Nayland, our technical genius, the guru of how to put things together.
And what he's going to do right now in a second is he's going to drop Fader 2, so that way Mark can be off the air, and he's going to go and get him, or Mark's going to go and get himself an interview coming up here in a second. So Mark will go off the air again. He is Mark Pavlovich. I am Ryan Osborne. Our technical director today is Corey Nayland. And a thank you to Joseph Pavlenko for helping us get on the air here tonight. So again, Ryan Osborne joining you here on FC Hornet Media, Hornet Radio specifically for tonight. Dia De Los Muertos, the celebration for 2024. As Mark mentioned, we have done this 4 out of the last 5 years, and it has been an emphasis for this program and something that we have wanted to continue to keep the legacy for as long as Joe, Mark, Corey, and I are out here and have the availability to come out here and enjoy things with this community as a whole. It is our joy and our pleasure to bring you Dia De Los Muertos each and every year that we have the opportunity to do so. Now, like I was telling Mark just a few moments ago, FC Hornet Media is the big thing for us this semester. Hornet Radio, switching from KBPK to Hornet Radio, so that way you can see more Dia De Los Muertos, more like FC Day, more like Manufacturing Day, and the Coach's Show. That's going to continue from KBPK on to Hornet Radio. But you always want to look at FC Hornet Media. That's something that's going to be coming up and is a theme going forward. FC Hornet Media, as I mentioned earlier, it's Inside Fullerton, the student magazine, the student newspaper, the Hornet, and then also you have Hornet Radio, of course, the radio station at Fullerton College, all joining as one whenever we have something combined that we want to be able to boost out to you and bring you a really nice product. It's going to be coming out through FC Hornet Media. Now, if you haven't really gotten a chance to take a look at the Hornet yet, they do wonderful things in terms of the student newspaper. They are currently dissecting the upcoming 2024 election. And I know it's a day to celebrate the ancestors. It's a day to celebrate family and a day to celebrate community. No one wants to hear that word election. But it is something huge that is coming up for this program. We're going to host election night. That'll be November the 5th. So, election night, November the 5th. And it will start at 7 p.m. It's going to be a live stream from our multimedia room. You're going to see a whole host of students from Fullerton College, not just in the journalism department, but also in the radio department as well. Political science will be joining us too. Each and every one of them coming together to bring you not just coverage on the overall election, but they're going to bring you live and up-to-date stats and results from the polls. Partnership with the OC Registrar of Voters allows for Fullerton College and also Hornet Radio and FC Hornet Media to have the opportunity to get those live election results, and they're going to bring it to you live as it is happening. So tune in election night, 7 p.m. That's when the live stream will start. It will go all the way to about 11:30 to midnight, depending on what the results are and how slow things come in once they get rolling after 8 p.m. So the live stream starts at 7 p.m., and then going forward, it's going to end at about 11:30-ish to 12. Now, I'm going to step aside and bring Mark back in just a moment. He can leave my fader up. It is all good. I will bring him in. He'll have our first interview as we continue with Dia De Los Muertos here in 2024 on Hornet Radio.
Welcome back to Day of the Dead here on Hornet Media. And of course, when we come to an event like this and we talk about why the event happens, that is one thing. But the other aspect of the event is, like I've already said, many individuals from different places on the campus also will celebrate the event with us. But they're here for a reason and a need. And I have Cheyenne on the air with me. And Cheyenne, you were telling me you're in what department?
The Hornets Resource Center.
The Hornets Resource Center. And most people would say, wait a minute, that's supposed to help me with my education. I go and find what? So what is the purpose of the Resource Center?
So the Resource Center is a subset of the Basic Needs Department, and we will basically help you with any basic needs. We can get students signed up for Medi-Cal and CalFresh and also housing assistance. And we also work with the food bank. So if you come to the food bank, you might see me helping out. And students can come there once a week and get fresh food and canned food and any, type of food they need.
You know, when you say that, there's so many people in the world today that are afraid to ask for help. You know, they go in, somebody says, hey, go to the food center, and they walk in, they go, well, I don't want anybody to know my situation. And they feel bad about it. How do you convince students to come? I mean, really, I'm serious on this one. How do you convince them, hey, there's nothing wrong with you asking for help?
Well, we get a lot of students coming to the food bank, not just students who are food insecure, but anyone who maybe wants a little snack. We offer plenty of snacks. We have a microwave. I've gone in there quite a few times myself to get just a little something. They had bags of pecans, and I love pecans. So I went in there and I just snagged some. Well, obviously you have to sign in first. But, just for a little something, anyone can come to the food bank. It's open for everybody, and nobody will know anything about whether or not you're food insecure, because a lot of people just come there, like I said, for just a little something to boost their week.
And do most students know that you'd be there from the insurance side of the fact? Because many people, when it comes to medical, avoid doctors. You were talking about how you could help sign them up. They avoid doctors because they go, I can't afford to see a doctor. It's $284 a visit. I don't want to go to urgent care because they're going to tell me to pay something. So does our campus really get the word out there to our student body so that the students, at least as far as you feel, know about this program that you can offer them the help they may need?
Well, we try our best to get the word out. We have an Instagram. We advertise on the website. You might see our flyers up in other departments. And anytime you come into the Hornets Resource Center for anything, like even directions, you'll see Medi-Cal drop-in flyers on the counter. Hopefully, we can find other ways to get it out, like as we're out here right now with the food bank. We might tell people about what we're doing. We're always trying to spread the word on campus through events, through tabling, through anything that we can do.
You know, and when you talk about that, you look to do that. I mean, what situations have you encountered with students where you get taken back by the situations they're in and think, gee, if you'd have come and seen us 6 months ago, your situation would be different? I mean, is it really as bleak as some people make it out to be?
Well, I'm actually quite new to the Resource Center. This is
Okay.
my second week working.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't really come across too many people in pretty dire straits yet, which, you know, is a good thing. And hopefully I won't have to see that as I'm working here. I just hope that as we get the word out about Medi-Cal and CalFresh, that more people will see that and think, oh, this is a great resource that I can get access to. And hopefully we'll be able to just keep themselves healthy and well through our programs.
So now you're a student here at Fullerton College.
Yes, I am.
So your major is?
I am in the Associate of Arts program. I'm hoping to transfer into a fashion major when I transfer to university.
So that you'd like to go into design for clothing and everything else?
Yes.
Very interesting. I have a niece that has 3 masters. One's in theater, one's in art, and one's in costume design.
Wow.
So she's now gone from working in theater the last 13 years. I worked in show business for 37 and finally said, Uncle Mark, enough's enough, but I've got a job at a museum.
Oh, wow.
As you look to go into this, what would you like, if I said, I'm going to see you 10 years down the road, where would you like to be?
Well, I really want to start my own fashion brand. I love sustainable fashion, and I love the idea of creating things from materials that will eventually decompose. A lot of what we see nowadays is polyester, which takes a very long time to decompose, and I would hope to be able to spread more sustainable fabrics and things that are better for the environment through a fashion brand that is cute and also eco-conscious.
So when you see the brand that says Cheyenne within the next 2 years and it continues to grow and you see this lovely, smart woman sitting next to me doing her own commercials, remember you saw her first on Hornet Media and say, you know, the old guy said, help young people achieve their dreams. Make sure you buy her product. Not only will it be fashionable, it'll be durable, but it'll be environmentally conscious. And you know what? It's not going to cost you the top dollar that everybody else is charged. At least not right for right now.
Yeah.
We'll wait till down the road.
I'm going to keep my things affordable for everybody all the time. That's the hope.
Cheyenne, thank you very much for everything you do. I appreciate you being out here helping the students on campus. And then I wish and I hope that all your dreams come true and that someday I will look at that brand and go, I knew her. She doesn't have anything for an old guy, but I knew her. Cheyenne, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. I'll make something just for you.
Thank you. Cheyenne here on Hornet Media for the Resource Center here on the campus of Fullerton College. Thank you, Cheyenne.
Thank you.
Well, you can hear the music in the background. We're still at the wonderful celebration today here at Fullerton College. And I'm lucky enough because now I've got a young woman that has walked in the world that Corey Nalen loves, who went and found her. Ryan Osborne likes to dabble in it. And I've grown up in it. I always say to everybody, the best thing in the world is to find a good book, no matter what it is, no matter what the subject matter is. And when I say books, I can even throw the word in comic book.
Oh, absolutely.
So that you will sit down and read. You know, I love textile of touching a book and feeling it. So I have China Barnett with me. She's a library assistant. And it's this person that what she does, I grew up with in my world. In our day, in my day, when we had to do an assignment in school, we always went to the library.
Okay.
There was not going online and finding anything. There wasn't, hey, where's that magical little page? So if we wanted to do an assignment like when Mr. Nalen and I took sports broadcasting classes together, we had to go out and buy newspapers and read. We had to go to the library and research the Dewey Decimal System, something that we knew. So I look at somebody like you who is a library assistant and I go, people like you, what you do for a living, have been Corey's of my guides forever. We might even look at you and say, I really like biographies. Is there anything I should be reading now? And you'll tell me. try this. I'll read it.
I appreciate that.
You know,
Thank
and
you.
walk away. So how does somebody get into the world that you're in? I mean, either you've got to be a lover of books, and that's why you got there, or you just happened to turn the right corner and said, hey, this is pretty interesting, and found out that once you were there, you could help a lot of people and open up gazillions of worlds to them that they didn't know exist.
Yeah, no, everything you're saying is absolutely true. But before I get into it, it's nice to meet you. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
I'm the old guy.
Okay, the old guy. So nice to meet you. Thank you for interviewing me.
You're welcome.
To be quite honest, I stumbled into this career. I was a student worker. I was actually coming to school here with taking classes with you guys in the CRTV program.
Okay.
Just a student worker. Someone left who was full-time. I thought maybe I could apply. Maybe it could help me pay for college. So I kind of took the backwards route, and I ended up falling in love with the library. And I didn't realize how many students, I've been here 10 years now full time, how many students do not come in the library?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, they have no idea what we do. They have no idea the amazing things we offer, far beyond books. And you said it earlier, comic books, right? We have a huge section, comic books, young adult books, just to bring students in. Once they're in, then they realize, oh, I can get help with my research paper. I can have a one-on-one session with the librarian. So it's the idea is just bring them in. How do we get them in? And then from there, we usually keep them, we retain them. So the library is a great resource, whether it's research purposes, whether it's studying, or you just want to read a book.
Well, you know, the thing that's interesting, too, when we started tonight, we talked about how the radio department is now multimedia. I came out of entertainment, and I've argued for years we should be multimedia. We finally did that.
Good for you guys.
You know, and created our own multimedia studio. And we learned how we had to adapt. When I look at libraries, you've been there 10 years, libraries have changed.
Absolutely.
You know, they're not the same old thing where you walked in,
No.
went to the back, blew the dust off of a book, and you said, that's the one you want. And you went, oh my God, it's 15,000 pages.
Absolutely.
So how have libraries changed in your 10 years working at one?
So when I started 10 years ago, a lot of our focus was just on regular books, circulating books. And the 10 years from my day one, we have so many textbooks now because that's so important to students. And as you and I both know, they're very expensive. We have calculators. I don't think people understand how expensive TI-84 calculators are, $120. So we have well over 200 of those calculators. We support the anatomy program, so now we have bones and brains and whatnot, so students can come in and use that. We now check out laptops, just like you guys. We've had to adjust with the times. Students need laptops, especially with this hybrid remote system that we have now. Right. So we kind of just have to listen to what they need. We're not the quickest on getting what they need, but we do eventually get it. So we definitely have had to update our systems in a lot of ways.
Well, and you do have a studio over in the library.
We do, one-button studio.
Yeah, in case the kids actually wanted to do something and they didn't have a place to go. They discovered that if they came to the library, it opens up another world for them.
Yes.
Not just being the traditional come in and sit down. Is it changed in the way, too? In my day when you walked to the library, because you know I'm loud, you can tell, you would get...
I can barely hear you. What are you talking about?
You'd get the looks.
Yeah.
And it used to be a social atmosphere.
Yeah.
Is it still a social atmosphere for students?
In my opinion, it is. And to kind of meet students where they're at. So we have some students who come in and they just want peace and quiet, while others want more of a social aspect, group studying. So we have study rooms. So that really caters towards those students who want to talk, want to collaborate, want to work together. So we have rooms for them to go in and do their thing, whether it's studying or maybe hanging out, preferably studying, but you know. And then for the most part, upstairs is more of a quiet space, but downstairs, that's just not the case because we have so many students coming in to quickly grab this or asking questions. So I think we have different pockets of the library that kind of cater to all of our students' needs.
You know, one thing I want to know, because besides having books on tape, I'm sure you do have books on tapes over there, but how many languages do you have for different books? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people in the community right now that says, oh, they're talking about the library, Mom and Dad, or Grandpa and Grandma, and one of those relatives responds in the native tongue and says, "Oh, I miss not being able to read in my native language." So how many different languages are over at that library right now for books?
Okay, I can honestly only tell you I know of two. I hope I'm wrong, but I only know of two, which is English and Spanish. Yeah, I think that's the only answer I can give you. That's all I know.
Okay, all right. Well, no, but that'd be
But it's a
something.
good idea, though.
Yeah, and that's something I really would like to know, because I know with a lot of videos, and I know the production companies
Yeah.
that get them translated from English to you name the language. It happens. I've often thought about that when I've got a bestseller.
Mm-hmm.
How many different languages is this written in, and do all the libraries carry at least one version of that book in 175 different languages?
Oh, man. I feel like we would love to. I just don't.
I know
I don't
cost
think we have.
hurts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we have the money for that. But that's a good idea. I'll pass it on to the librarians,
Okay, and now let me get to, and I always do this to everybody.
please.
I ask them one question, they go, "Oh, why did he ask me?" No matter who the person is. For years, I've been extremely upset when anybody has wanted to ban a book. It may not be your cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be your subject matter. It might infuriate you when you pick it up and read it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But should there just be a set rule in education that no book should ever get banned?
I think so. I think, the beauty of education, the beauty of learning and growth is a million different perspectives. I may not agree with you on a political level, but I still want to hear what you have to say and learn from whatever you're telling me. Maybe there's so much I can learn I didn't know. So I think that's why I have an issue with states that ban books. And we actually have a banned book contest in the library that we run every year.
Really?
Yeah, it's a contest.
So what is it?
So,
What's it?
so we have books that were banned, right? We
Yeah.
advertise them, and students can read the book and then write an essay about it, and they actually win a prize. I think first place is 100 or 200, second place is 75 or 50, something like that. Because we want students to know that at a point in time, these books were banned. And this is a real issue. Us living in California, I don't think a lot of students, at 18, what did we know at 18,
Right.
right? Didn't realize how many books were banned.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to make students aware of that, of how lucky we are to live in this day and age. But we're still, it's an uphill battle for some
Yeah.
books and authors.
So where do you hope the world of libraries go? If you could say, Mark, I'm going to be doing this for another 35 years, and at the end of when you say, all right, I need to just go play for a while, where would you like libraries to be? I want the books. One thing I always would say to you if you ask me, I always want the hard copy there. Don't ever
How
get
funny.
rid of it.
I was going to say, I wish we can go a little bit more digital. So obviously you and I disagree.
Yeah,
But
we
see, I
do.
respect your decision. I think a little bit more digital for me. And I would also like to, gosh, I wish we could figure out a way to just bring more students just in, which I think might be heading more towards the textbook route.
Okay.
I think so, because, they're really expensive. But I don't know. So much has changed in 10 years. So we'll
Can't
see.
let you go without asking me
Yes, you will.
your favorite author.
Okay, I'm a horror girl, so
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm sticking to Stephen King.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's what you snuggle up to
Yeah.
at the end of the night, I mean, what
Really
the heck?
is.
Why not? China, I want to thank you very much for
Thank
being on
you
the air
so
with
much.
me. It's been a ball. I'll be over there. Corey Nailen will come on over, and even Ryan
Thank you,
Osborne.
fellas. I appreciate
Head to
you
the
guys.
library.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a ball, and thank you for being on the air with us here
I appreciate
at
you.
Hornet
Thank
Radio.
you.
Day of the Dead will continue later on tonight here on Hornet Radio, part of Hornet Media here at Fullerton College. I'm the old guy along with Corey Nailen, Ryan Osborne. Happy to bring you the people on the air. Corey Nailen may find another person. I know we're going to do some remote shooting, and then we'll be back with a little more here on Hornet Radio.
Alrighty. So, Ryan Osborne here with Lorena Marquez, a member of the Puente program, if I'm not mistaken. Alrighty. So, here at Dia De Los Muertos, first thing that I like to ask people is, what does Dia De Los Muertos mean to you personally?
Yeah, so Dia de los Muertos to me is a celebration of those who have passed on. So it's a way to honor our loved ones and celebrate the things that they enjoyed doing, right? That's why we offer the ofrendas, and so to represent things that they enjoyed while they were here with us, but it's a way to honor their life.
When you see so many different students, of course, from many different walks of life, you see them every day when you're just working your normal job, but now you see them come out here and get to express a different side of their personality. What does that feel like for you?
Oh, I love it. I think just even right now, I had a couple students that are in my class, and I think that while they're out here and getting to experience this with me, I feel like they kind of let their boundaries down, which is good, right? So I kind of get to know them a little bit better, just who they are, and we started talking about music, you know, since there's music playing, and so I think it just allows me to get to know them outside of the classroom, which I think allows them to just be more of themselves, and we get to know more about one another. We were talking about music and culture, and we started talking about concerts that we enjoy, so I think it just allows us to get to know each other without maybe that barrier that they think we have in the classroom, which, again, I try to break down that barrier, but it's just we're more of ourselves, you know, as we experience this together.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because the big thing is that, I mean, I was a student, right? I always thought, even if I tried, there was always that mental barrier of instructor versus student. Even if you try and do your best to be able to break that down, there was always that feeling, right? But you get the opportunity to really, truly let that come away. And do you notice different things with the personalities of the students and how they're able to perform in your classes after an event like this, where they get to see you and also bring out their own personality?
I think so, because I think now when we go back to the classroom next week, like, we've shared like intimate stories of like music or food or traditions. I was talking to some of my students about, like, where's your family originally from, because they were talking about Mexico, right? So so I think by us sharing stories, when we go back into the classroom, I think they see me in a different light. As much as I try, because I do share things about myself, like, and I'm vulnerable, right? You know, within boundaries. But I think doing things like this and participating in campus activities together does allow for students to now see us more like we're on the same level, you know? We have similar experiences, we share similar traditions. So I think it just breaks down that barrier, you know? And so I think that's why it is so important for students and faculty to be part of the campus community outside of the classroom, you know? And it's good for them to see us out here, you know?
Now, of course, I'm on campus, one of the classified members here on staff. I understand what the Puente program is, but for a prospective student or maybe a family member of a student here at Fullerton College, they hear those words for the first time and they're wondering, what is that program? Could you give an explanation or a description on what the Puente program is for someone who's never heard of it before?
Sure. So the word puente means bridge, right? So the Puente program aims to create a bridge between the community college and the four-year university. And how do we achieve that? Through an interdisciplinary approach between humanities and counseling. So students take English fall and spring, they take counseling fall and spring, and then they are also assigned a mentor for their first year of college. So the idea is that within that first year, we provide a lot of support. We get them to pass their English. We provide counseling and support services, but also a mentor from the community that helps also guide them. So it's a partnership, it's a learning community program with the goal of supporting students to achieve their educational goals. The program's been at Fullerton for over 30 years, right? We just celebrated opening of a Puente Center. So students have a place to congregate, you know, build community. One of the big things of the program is building community and a sense of belonging. And I think we achieve that through our counseling class, by participating in events on campus, and having a close partnership with the English faculty. As you may know, right, English is such an important foundational course, and so by having this partnership, we really support the students. So my English partner's here with me, you know, so yeah.
When you look at those mentors, how often do you see a student look at a mentor initially? They get the first meeting and they go, okay, you know, it's someone on campus who's going to help me. But then later on, as they continue to go through their academic career, it almost seems as if they develop a friendship with them to truly understand how they can move forward.
Yeah, I think initially it is a little hard with the students because whether it's a campus member or like a community member, because we recruit campus faculty, classified staff, I think students are so intimidated. No matter how much we try, like, you know, they want to help you. But I think the students that do give the mentorship an opportunity, I think definitely, you know, over the years we've seen relationships that have flourished into more of like, you would say like a friendship, which I would say that, you know, my mentors, I do see them as people that I now call friends, you know, but that have just guided and supported me. So I do think a lot of our students over time see the benefit, right, as the time progresses, and they do build, you know, these relationships with their mentors that go beyond like a hierarchy of like, you know, so yeah, so we've been very successful. We have a one mentor per one student, and we have 54 students in the program. So we've also been very successful at building and maintaining those relationships.
That's really intriguing to me, because all too often you hear about the ratios between students to mentors or teachers or instructors or even staff members. You hear it especially at public schools, at community colleges, even at four-year universities as well, that the ratio is often too far to the student side to mentor because of the lack of resources here in the United States. It's so interesting to me to hear that it's a one-to-one ratio. How difficult is it from the administrative side of things to be able to look at it and say, okay, I'm able to find enough mentors for these students to keep it at that ratio?
Okay, so I am in my second year of the program, and so I think the people that came before me were able to establish a foundation for the program where I think it has such a good reputation that I think when we invite people to participate, we have lots of campus community members choose to mentor. So last year when I started, I think one of the challenges has been to like maintain that connection with the mentors, right? So we match them, but some of them have mentored before. Some of our students struggle with like reaching out and feeling the confidence to reach out. So last year I really wanted to kind of be more of a facilitator and be more intentional about reaching out to the mentors and kind of saying, hey, your students are about to take midterms, maybe like send them an email so that the students could feel like, oh gosh, you know. So I do think that it is a little hard to maintain because we have to continuously recruit. But at the same time, I do feel every year we have at least half of our mentors when we reach out to previous mentors. Some of them want to take a break, and then we just kind of recruit more. And so we're just creating a long database of mentors. So I think we could always reach out to people who have taken a break and are ready to come back. But I think the coordinators prior to me have done such a good job that I think we don't struggle. That's a good thing. We don't struggle to get our mentors. So I know there have been years where maybe it's been 2 to 1, or maybe one mentor had 2 students, but I think consistently we're able to match one mentor to one mentee.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And, you know, recently we had one of our students who, Ari Nakshon, who ends up hosting a coaches show for us for athletic stuff, but he actually asked the coach an intriguing question to me recently. He asked them, what is your proudest moment of your career? Now I'll bring it over to you. Away from athletics, now to the academics and the Fuente program, what has been your proudest moment so far being a part of this program?
Well, I am a product of the Fuente program myself. So I will say that I think in general it's being able to come full circle and do for somebody else what somebody did for me as a first generation immigrant Latina student who was motivated but very scared and very nervous and maybe sometimes had a little bit of the imposter syndrome. I think one of the greatest things for me is to be able to truly try to connect with the students and make them feel comfortable and help them believe in themselves if they are doubting themselves, right? Some students don't have that, but a lot of students feel a little nervous and scared, especially if they're first generation. So I think that's the thing I'm most proud of, like to be able to give back to a program that did so much for me. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We want to thank you for joining us for our coverage of Dia De Los Muertos today.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Alrighty. We'll take that. Thank you very much. It's completely okay. Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is fun. It is really fun.
It is. Alrighty. All set. Thank you very much. So that was Lorena Marquez. We want to thank her again for joining us here on KBPK, Hornet Radio, FC Hornet Media. Mark Pavlovich, Corey Nalen, our technical advisors here today. Ryan Osborne joining you here on Dia de los Muertos 2024. We've got a lot more coming your way as we get set to continue to bring you Dia de los Muertos here on Hornet Radio.
Well, we're still here at Day of the Dead, and of course, as October slowly comes to an end, the month that everybody keeps talking about is right around the corner. Remember that month that's coming up, November, general election, November 5th. And if you want to find out who's running, don't forget to watch Meet the Candidates here on Hornet Radio. Ryan Osborne and myself had the pleasure of going out and shooting Meet the Candidates. You would get the individual on the camera there that you can find out, is this somebody that you believe in? Do you believe in what they think? And then have the opportunity to vote for. So make sure you take a little time out. Check out Meet the Candidates on Hornet Radio, part of Hornet Media here at Fullerton College. To Day of the Dead here on Hornet Radio. And of course, this time you get to see a picture because we got somebody on the board that knows what they're doing. I'm still learning. What can I say at 25 years old? I'm here with Alicia Contreras, who is part of Student Services. She's a student service specialist, and you're in what department?
Student Life and Leadership.
Student Life Leadership. As Ryan saying, these are the cameras we're going to go to. I'm going to move your microphone up just a little so I can hear you. There you go.
Perfect.
So, Alicia, you've been on campus for how long here?
I've been on campus. I started as a student in 2013 and then transferred in I started working in admissions and records as a student in 2013 and then came over to Student Life and Leadership in 2016, and I've been there since.
So people would say, if I said this is where she works, Student Life and Leadership, people would say, what the heck is that?
Right.
So what is Student Life and Leadership?
We have been different names. We were Student Affairs, then turned into Student Center, and then we are now Student Life and Leadership because we really take care of the student life, meaning we take care of commencement, students of distinction, faculty of the year. A lot of our main events here on campus, we coordinate with others as well, like we're here for Dia De Los Muertos, and we take care of the commencement, which is our big event, right? And simultaneously, we take care of our AS students. So our Senate for Fullerton College, that we have our executives. Right now we have 7 executives and we have 30 senators. So with them, we have meetings, weekly, bi-weekly, and then as well committee meetings for all of them. So we run all of that so that we could have a strong student presence. And we also travel with them to conferences and take them to places so they could learn more and advocate for other students.
So basically, you are I'm going to say you're the arteries and the veins of the college, because you create the blood flow of education amongst the students that are out there. Without you, they would slowly wither and not be an educational facility. It would just be a place where there's a bunch of people trying to learn. Is that sort of what you do?
That is, because under our department as well, our director is Marwan Luminares, but under his jurisdiction, we have all the clubs also, we've learned that by going out to these conferences, we've learned that as long as we get a student to engage in a club, in Senate, in a program, in different aspects of the campus, we'll retain them longer, and they'll also enjoy their stay with us here. We're able to see them when they come in, and then we build their leadership. We take them out to retreats. We teach them what it is to be a good leader on campus, and then they take that leadership with them. And a lot of our students come because they're like, well, I didn't get accepted into my dream school, UCLA, USC, UCI. And from here, we get to see their growth. And sometimes in 2 years, we see them transfer to their dream schools.
So you've been here for a long period of time, and you've interacted with multiple students of different economic backgrounds, different social backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds. Has the campus itself, when you look at the student body, changed over since you've been here? You said you've been here since 2013. Has it changed over the years?
I feel like our demographic is currently very similar to what it was in 2013, but at this point, we're focusing a lot on so for example, our PETA group. Our PETA group grew so strong, and it was a pretty quick growth for them. And as well, we're an HSI community, and we've always been an HSI institute, but right now we're focusing on letting our students know that they're in an HSI place. Even the watermark posters that you see up, we're going out to conferences to learn more on how to make all of our students feel at home and learning what they need. So at this point, I think that the campus is growing in the way we're showing them. So this is a great example, an event where our whole community comes out. Right now we were serving food and people were like, I came here 10 years ago, I came here 15 years ago, and they come back. So there's something that the seed was placed in them, that they still come back.
I'm here with Alicia Contreras, and she really is the heart and soul of the college because she interacts with the students all the time. And really, when you look at what you teach in the leadership role, young people have changed, especially over the last 13 years. For me, I've been here 25, so I've seen a magical change. But when you look at it, are the words, the thoughts, or what people look at as leadership the same as it was way back? when we go, let's say, 10 years ago? Or has the attitude changed on what leadership should be now as we sit here at 2024?
For 2024, I've seen the growth in leadership where they place a lot of responsibility on their equity and on learning how to be most proficient for all our students. So I do see that equity lens turn on all of them. And I don't know if it's coming from our middle schools and high schools that are feeding them to us, but they do come with a want to learn and a want to represent others. Even after COVID, pre-COVID, we had kind of like groups that were separate on campus. When they came back from COVID, it was a little hard to get them back, right? They sometimes didn't know how safe it was. And we felt that because we were getting the high school students that didn't engage in their high school as well. And it's taken about 2 years, I feel, but they now want to engage so much. And they don't want to be in silos. They want to be in a large group, so they love our club rushes because they all want to be there together. For Quad Hunt, we're already having them sign up for it. For events like this, they want to come out. So they do want to come out and be part of a community again. So our leaders are wanting that. They're wanting to build these communities. And I think that's amazing because I don't remember at their age wanting to build this. And so that leaves me very hopeful for what our FC students are going to take with them to other places.
We have a hands-on president now. She's a wonderful woman to talk to. She's down to earth in many cases, highly educated, cares about the community. So where does she fit in when we look at your program?
She's very supportive of us. She meets with our president is Emily Kim, and Sharon Kim is our trustee, and she meets with them and speaks to them and gives them like pointers on, hey, so this is where there could be more growth. What is it that the students are asking for? And then she guides them on where to go to get help for those students. So she goes to our meetings. If we were to ask her to go to a meeting, she'll be there. And then she also encourages us to go to conferences and learn more. And I think we, as an institute, if we just stay and do what we do every year and not learn and go out to other communities and see what's working and maybe what's not working, we don't build our community more than what we have. And our president does encourage us. Dr. Olivo is very present with Associated Students and supporting our students.
So when we look at where you were at 2013, where we got to almost 2024, and I know you're a youngster, so you're going to be here another 20 years, where would you like to see what you do, what your department does? Where could the growth be for your group 10 years down the road?
10 years down the road, I could see us continuing the path that we're taking, making all of our services that we give students, from students of distinction to commencement, very equitable so that any student can be part of it. It doesn't matter if they're first generation. We still want them to be part of commencement. We still want them to succeed. Or if they're part of our Hispanic Serving Institute portion, or if they're part of our APIDA. Depending on what their ethnicity is, we don't want that to be a barrier. So I see our growth there because right now our clubs and organizations have grown so much. We have our Chinese Cultural Club, we have our Hispanic Club, we have our Unidos FC, we have undocumented clubs that have been rising, and our GSA clubs. So the variety of our clubs right now is what I want to see that grow. I mean, if I could continue feeding into that and growing from 50 to 100 clubs, that'd be a lot of work for us.
Yeah.
But it would be a pleasure to have 100 clubs on campus that were active and thriving. We don't only want them to be active or here. We want them to be thriving and to connect, network. And a lot of them, they meet with their advisors. They connect with our professors. Our professors are amazing as well. Our faculty here works very hard to keep our students, to retain our students, and to also help them engage. So sometimes they'll give them a point to come, they'll give them time or some points to come to our activities. And honestly, I think that that's very helpful because, again, once they find a place on campus, they thrive here on campus.
Before I let you go, because you said a big part of what you do is commencement. Huge community college. Large amount of students that graduate every year. So What is commencement like? Because I know you've got to make sure everybody's got their caps and gowns. You got to know how many people are coming to the commencement. You've got to know, you've got to know, you've got to know. What's your day like leading up to it, and what is commencement day like for you?
So commencement day has already started for us. Our
See?
team is already working on commencement, and we already feel behind on commencement,
Really?
even though it'll be May 31st. I can't wait to get those quotes from our vendors so we can lock our contracts in to get that logistical part out of it. We have to make sure we have security. We have to make sure we know how many students are graduating and get them to RSVP. That day is very exciting. I do get a little teary-eyed every time I hear the pomp and circumstance going on and it's starting and bringing in the students. It's one of the highlights of my year to be able to watch our students, and it's a lot of work. But that day when we're done, we don't leave until about 3:30 when everything is picked up. But we take our last classic picture there, right, where everyone had left. But it's an amazing, and every year they've told us your enrollment goes down, commencement is going to go down. And I would say it has increased at least some years 7 to 8%, some years 10%, and we're almost up to 1,000 graduates.
Wow.
Those 1,000 graduates come by. Our president this year had a banda. Last year had a mariachi for them. So they get to come and they have their large party here where we have photo booths. We have different things for them, and it's amazing.
So, in all the years you've been involved in that, is there one commencement speaker that you said, Mark, if you could have heard somebody speak, this was the individual? I know I'm putting you on a spot, but, there's always that person that you listen to and you go, I listened to their words and the tears ran down my face, or I felt so proud. Was there anybody like that since you've been
I think
involved
our
here?
last two have been very, they have been amazing in what they bring to us. I think that the last two have been the most because they've been able to connect with students. Our last one was bilingual, so was able to speak a little Spanish and English and kind of mix it up a little. And that was very nice to see because our crowd heard it and we're like, whoa. You kind of saw like everyone look over, kind of like, look, they're speaking Spanish. And so that was very, it was different. It was something different that the campus has brought. And but every year we like to make it better.
Well, we know you're doing that. Alicia Contreras, part of student services specialist, who makes sure your experience here at Fullerton College is something special to you, not only from the general education side, the social side, but the interaction with others and understanding this world, the outside world, the world you haven't seen yet, is something this young woman does. And all I can say is thank you for giving as much as you do to these young people, because if it wasn't for somebody like you, there would be those ones that wouldn't achieve that dream. And because of you and your group allowing them to learn much more than just what you learned from a book has allowed them to expand their lives in the world and made them successes. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your program.
And thank you for being on campus as well.
And thank you for being with us tonight. Alicia Contreras, one of the special people on campus. If you're here, look her up, knock at her door, tell her the old guy sent you.
Student Center. Go to the Student Center, room 214. My office is there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
alongside Mark Pavlovich as we get set to wrap things up here at Dia De Los Muertos 2024. Mark, well, plain and simple, we heard different aspects of Dia De Los Muertos than we have in the past. Usually what we get in the past between yourself, myself, Raymond, who's been out here, other students who've been out here as well, is usually we'll get the historical aspect and what it means to them. But this time it was all about how this campus can help those in the community.
Yeah, it really was. It was more of, we knew the celebration was going on. You could hear the music in the background. Corey took a couple walks. But I don't know, Ryan, the people that I was lucky enough to interview, I really wanted to know what they did and what they're offering the students. You being a former student here, Corey being a former student here, myself, 3 different generations of us 3 going to this school. And you know how I feel about the young people that are here now, hoping that they will be as lucky as you are and work as hard as you have to be a success at what you want to do. And I know that's a lot of support. I know your family was there for you. I know you had mentors on this campus that were there for you. And we talk enough because you work at the station and I volunteer at the station. We talk with the leader of our group, the mad scientist, Joseph Pavlenko. And we know life is getting much more difficult for young people like you and Joe. Where do I buy a house? What should I do for a living? How much money am I going to make? What school can I go to? Things that maybe Corey, myself, and you, but at least Corey and I, we sort of thought, oh, well, we'll do what we want to do. And I just wanted to talk to those people that are the ones that we never hear about. Yeah, we hear about the college president. We hear about the NOCCD, people like Fred. Hey, schools are doing great. They get their pictures taken. We never hear about the person that has to deal with students that have problems away from the classroom. And tonight I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of them because of you and Corey letting me be with them on the air. That's what's been fun tonight at the Day of the Dead.
And on my side, one thing that has been interesting in my interview was that it was all about bridge programs. How can you help mentor a student who's here at a community college looking to go to the 4-year level, looking to go on to a university, looking to continue their educational path? How can you help someone who is looking to, well, truly just find their way going from a community college on to the next level? And it was also intriguing to hear about how they set up the program, the Puente program that is, to a 1-to-1 ratio of students to mentors. And what really intrigued me about that, Mark, is you hear all too often about schools, right? Lots of crowds, state, national level. We hear about overcrowding even. We hear about limited resources. We hear that students to teachers, students to mentors, students to instructors, that ratio is beyond almost help at times. Here at Fullerton College, they make sure it's 1-to-1 or as close to 1-to-1 as possible. If there is one mentor who's got 2 people, maybe it's 1 person, maybe it's 2 people. But for the most part, like it is this year, 54 to 54. It is a 1-to-1 ratio of people here at Fullerton College helping these students learn and also move on to that next level, and how they can make sure that they're going through college without feeling alone.
Yeah, and before we leave, because you're on that theme of helping people, I just want to say before we get away, Ryan Osborne and I have had the honor, when we talk about people helping people, the honor of working with a young woman here on campus, and you've worked with her very closely, you and Joe have, that is now, when I think of Day of the Dead and or Halloween, she is retiring. And I just have to say with all my heart, and then I'm going to let you get in there too, because my friend, she's been very kind with you and Joe.
She has.
Cynthia Sands is going to be retiring here at Fullerton College. She is the backbone of our division. Yeah, we have deans, we have teachers, but without her, let's be realistic, we'd be in trouble.
We would.
And Cynthia, from the bottom of my heart, I just need to say, first of all, not only in you doing your job as well as you do, but you are the type of person that makes me want to be at an educational institution. I love people like you that are there for everybody else, that has given so much back to this school, that has cared so much about the individuals like Ryan and Joe you have worked with, to take care of the deans you have taken care of, to watch out for your fellow workers. There's not enough that this college could have done for you or has done for you to say thank you. And all I can say from the bottom of my heart is, young woman, you are one of a kind. You are special. And thank you very much for letting me call you friend, and for the things you did for me as being a volunteer here. You will always seem to be in my corner. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing that. And now I'm going to you because, buddy, you got to deal with her.
No, absolutely. And when Mark mentions that, the first time that I met Cynthia, I was actually a student here on campus, was looking for an independent study program, so that way I could be a part of the radio program even more than the classes that I took. Jared Padilla directly behind the camera saying hello. But I was able to not only encounter her, meet her, she helped me out, what I was looking for, the paperwork that I was looking for, move on to getting the job here at Fullerton College. Now, plain and simple, getting to Fullerton College, getting that first big boy job, if you will, I went into it going, okay, I'm all ready. I'm set to roll. 3 months into it, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm doing pretty good. I get an email from Cynthia. Hey, do you mind stepping into the office? Come over to the office. She says, you know that email that you have? And I said, yeah, absolutely. She goes, it's for you to reply to. And I said, that's a good idea. So from then on, I was able to learn the ropes of not only my job, but also being a part of a community. Because that's one thing with Cynthia. She will let you know exactly where you need to take that next step to keep you in the right path. And that's exactly what she has done for myself. It's exactly what she has done for Joseph Pavlenko, and I will speak for Joe here as well. Whenever we have needed support, Cynthia has been there for us. Whenever we have needed something, she has opened the doors and made our paths available for us. She has done that time in and time out without looking at us and saying, my goodness, I am tired of you two. Because plain and simple, we knock on her door quite a bit. Every single time she has opened the door and said, I have time for you, I am able to look at you and say, how can I help? She has done that time and time again and has taught not only myself but also Joseph Pavlenko the ropes here at Fullerton College, and also how to present ourselves when we are in a professional setting as well. There is not enough that we can say when it comes to Cynthia in terms of helping us learn what professionalism is, helping us learn what a campus community is, and helping us learn what a family is when it comes to working a job and learning about the people around you. So I do also want to say thank you from myself, from Mark, Corey as well, and then also from Joseph Pavlenko as well. Thank you, Cynthia, for everything you have done for us. Every single time that we have knocked on your door and said, hey, we've got something to talk to you about, you have opened your door and allowed us to have the time with you and made sure that we, whenever we leave, have more of a mentally safe space going out than the time that we came in. So I will wrap things up here at Dia De Los Muertos. For Corey Nalen, Joseph Pavlenko, Mark Pavlovich, and myself, we want to thank you for joining us here on Dia De Los Muertos. Very quickly, want to remind everyone, if you haven't gotten a chance, meet the candidates. It is a playlist on FC Hornet Media. The channel is linked on this channel. So KBPK, take a look at our profile. You can see FC Hornet Media and that playlist, which gives you the opportunity to meet the candidates of your local elections. Huge election coming up in just a couple of weeks, and we will bring it to you live with live stats, live up-to-date results, and also interviews with candidates and profiles as well of the propositions across the state of California. Tune in as our journalism and radio students will be bringing that to you live on November the 5th. Stay with us. We'll bring you all the results and everything you will need on election night. So once again, for Corey Nalen, Joseph Pavlenko, Mark Pavlovich, and myself, Ryan Osborne, thanking you for joining us at Dia De Los Muertos 2024 on Hornet Radio.